Welcome back, everyone. Today we'll be discussing the Jordan 6 UNC. Specifically, we'll be discussing whether you should sell or hold the Jordan 6 UNC and why that is. To preface this, if you guys enjoy these types of videos regarding the market, reselling, and even info on how to acquire these limited products, be sure to subscribe and enable post notifications. This way you're always 100% updated. Furthermore, for more urgent updates like shock drops, raffles, site lists, etc., follow my Twitter, KeithAdam10, and also personals for you. This way you're always in the loop 24/7 whenever there's a restock, shock drop, etc., such as the recent Jordan 6 UNC shock drop. For those who don't know, the Jordan 6 UNC released on March 5th, yesterday, as well as a shock drop back on February 21st. Anyway, retail on these was $210 for men's sizes, those of which we'll be discussing today. In order to determine if the Jordan 6 UNC will be a fruitful hold, we will cover whether they're expected to increase post-drop or even hypothetically decrease, along with how much specifically over specific periods of time, and finally, what type of margin are we looking at for these in terms of holding? Not the retail to resell initial margin, but rather just the hold margin over X period of time. Essentially, are these actually going to be worth your time, even if they do end up going up? There's no need to go over the estimated post-drop price like we usually do, since I am making this video after the drop, unfortunately, unlike usual, due to some time constraints, so I do apologize for not being able to get it out in time, but we will still go over what I expect prices to be once all shipments do go out. As of me making this video, it is March 6th, 2022, the day after the drop. It is during this time that we normally experience the impulsivity effect, and that's exactly what we did end up seeing, a 5% increase post-drop, as many of you guys likely would have expected. Currently, men's pairs are just sitting at around $302 on average for sizes 8 to 12, although stock was quite high on these. Considering a ton of stock is already in circulation from the shock drop, I'm not expecting a full 15% decrease. Rather, I'd only expect somewhere between a 5 to 10% decrease, which is rather on the minor side, so I suppose we could use a 7.5% as a happy middle in between. Therefore, this would potentially leave the post-shipment range at about $279 for sizes 8 to 12. With that being the average, some larger sizes would still be around $300, while some of the smaller sizes would be hovering in the mid-200 range. Regardless, this does still leave sufficient room for profitability with a subpar to decent margin depending on your size. Now, with the average price ranges evident, let's discuss whether they're expected to increase from here or even potentially continue to decrease. When it comes to these Jordan 6 UNCs, some useful comparisons with similar attributes and production would be the Jordan 6 Carmine as well as the Jordan 4 University Blue. First, the Jordan 6 Carmine has immensely high demand, just as the UNC 6 did. However, they did have notably higher stock than these. Regardless, ever since they did release, they have more or less just plateaued after their initial decrease, making them a rather poor hold over the course of a year, unfortunately. On the other hand, however, we do know that the UNC or University Blue colorway tends to carry an abnormally high amount of demand on Jordans, and this can also be seen on the Jordan 4 University Blue. While these started very high initially at $350, they still managed to increase to about $470 now in less than a year, allowing for over a 30% ROI despite being so high already initially, which is quite impressive in itself. With that said, we can take away that while 6s in general may not be as good of a hold as, say, a Jordan 4 or Jordan 1, considering something like the Jordan 6 Carmine hasn't really increased despite it being one of the most demanded Jordan 6s in general, but we could also take away that the UNC or University Blue colorway in itself does certainly show solid potential to increase in the future. They are starting at a relatively high rate at $302 and potentially $279 post-shipment, but certainly nothing unreasonable. Hence, I do feel that these will certainly increase within a year, contrary to the Carmine Jordan 6. Finally, regarding the hold margin on these, essentially, are these actually going to be worth your time? Considering you can currently get $302 for these right now on average, this does mean that to see at least a 30% ROI in 1 year, these would have to hit $390 to $395 within 1 year. I certainly do believe that this can be achieved long term, especially looking at the Jordan 4 University Blue now being near $500, but given where the Carmine 6s are right now, I'm not confident this is going to be possible within 1 year for these Jordan 6 UNC. In general, it often takes 6s quite a while to reach these kinds of rates. Also, keep in mind that those University Blues are also assisted in the fact that they look similar to a poor man's Travis Jordan 4. Therefore, I have rated these a 5 out of 10 hold, which is pretty much just average, nothing too notable. I really do believe most Jordans with the UNC or University Blue colorway have really solid long-term potential, but I'm just not very confident in how much these will rise in the short term, given how the Jordan 6 Carmine has performed, for example. Had these not been a UNC colorway, the rating would certainly have been much lower. I will be quick selling my pairs regardless, aside from my personal pair, but of course, as usual, let me know what you guys are doing with your pairs down in the comments below, since this is just a discussion at the end of the day. I can't predict the future, that's just my personal analysis based on the data that I've acknowledged. We have a lot of brilliant minds watching the video right now though, so I implore you to leave your notions down in the comments below. Also, just a note in general for any item, first, you should never hold anything if you don't have sufficient capital to go for as many drops as possible at your full potential without holding back. If you do need money to go for all drops, sell them right now before even more go into circulation. Anyway, that'll conclude it for today. Feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed, or perhaps if you learned a thing or two. Subscribe and enable post notifications just to stay 100% updated on all these hyped releases. Also, feel free to check out the links in the description below for reliable, fast, residential proxies and pre-verified Nike sneakers or Adidas accounts. Also, follow Endurance's Twitter for updates on restocks or key giveaways, and the same goes for Gargantua if you want to keep up with the progress or restocks. Last but not least, make sure to follow Keith Adam 10 and Personals for you. This way you guys stay updated on all urgent info like I was discussing today. With that though, I will see you guys later. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and congratulations if you did cop.